Alright, guys, so this is another very important video about debunking the myth nudity and orgasms are irresistible. Now, many people believe in this lie that, oh, you know what, nudity is so much irresistible and it's so normal, it's everywhere around the world, and on your screen, on your smartphone. And even in real life in the public places, and it's so irresistible that you just can't stop that, and it would compel you, it would cause you to pm or cause you to fap or cause you to watch porn. And another myth that people believe in is that orgasms is one of the strongest powerful experience that we have no control over, and it's one of the best feelings in the world. Okay, so we both of those myths we are going to debunk in today's video. So make sure to listen with a very open mind and be very open to new thoughts and new perspective, because you will learn many things just from this one video. Okay, so the whole point of being open minded is to simply don't believe me blindly, but come to your own conclusion. That's the whole point of being open minded, is you have to actively question your own beliefs, and then you have to arrive at that conclusion on your own. My goal is to give you the information that you can use in your own thinking to come to your own conclusion. Okay, so be very open to new thoughts and new perspective. Let's get started. So the first myth that people believe in, the first lie that people believe in, the first myth that we are going to debunk is that nudity is irresistible. But before that, I want to talk about something. Look, this concept of irresistibility, this concept sits directly behind the idea of powerlessness or out of control porn use. Like when people say that something is irresistible, what they mean by that is that it is objectively so attractive, it is objectively so strong that you are compelled beyond your free will to be hopelessly attracted to it. That's, of course, is not that, that's not true. Okay, that's not the reality. Look, there are so many things in our life that we are told that they are irresistible, and also we see through different marketing, different advertisements, these ads about mango juice, and how they portray it. They portray it as, oh, this is so irresistible that you just can't stop your cravings, right? We have been told in life there are many things that we are told that they are irresistible, right? So what happens is when, but if this irresistible word is repeated over and over again, what happens is you can unconsciously, without even realizing, you can adopt this idea that the use of that object is a real compulsion, right? That it compels you to use it, or it compels you, and it's so irresistible that you just can't stop using it. Now we are going to debunk this myth. Okay, and we have also seen this myth with porn, as well as other many other fetish objects, that people believe that porn and many other fetish objects, they compel them, it compels them to pmo beyond their free will. And once you believe in that lie, what happens is you fully adopt this out of control sex or porn addict self image. And that's so detrimental, that's so destructive. Okay, I made many videos about it. You can go on my channel, watch videos about debunking addiction, because if you have watched that video about debunking the concept of addiction, you can get a lot from this video. Okay, trust me. So look, and not only that, because once you believe in a certain lie so much, so strongly, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, meaning that it becomes your reality, even though that's not true. So number one myth that we are going to debunk is that nudity is irresistible. Now before I talk about this, let me tell you a little backstory about myself. Okay, I want to add a little touch of my own personal story. Okay, so I remember the first time when I saw a naked woman. The first time I was 11 years old. And I still remember I was hanging out with a group of my friends, and one of them had showed a porn site to us. Of course, we have never watched porn in our entire lives. Okay, like we were just kids, 11 years old kid. What do you expect from them? Of course, we didn't even know about porn. Okay, but one of my friend, he showed us a porn site, right? The first time when I saw a naked woman ever in my life. So I still remember I was looking through all the pages with my friends, and I was being excited, but also at the same time I was also being a bit shocked as well, at how intuitively and natural the woman's body looked to me, right? Because the thing is, and this was, I was literally stuck with how beautiful and stunning the experience of seeing a nude body was, a naked body was, but also at the same time how intuitive and natural that image was to me. And I had a very similar experience the first time when I had sex. uh, that build up, the anxiety of how I would actually perform the act itself, and the social pressure to do it right and do it good, it was a real challenge for me. Okay, so what was supposed to be a bright spot in my mind, it turned out to be just like climbing a high desert mountain in stifling heat. And I felt so much anxiety the closer I got to actually accomplishing the feat. So between the thing is, between having the awful experience of being molested at the age of 8, and then uh, 3 years later having that pleasant experience of looking at that porn site, my confusion about how I felt about nudity was growing day by day, right? So and then one day like I just got the opportunity when the first time I had intimate sexual experience with a real person. Like when I got married, I think I was 24 years old. So I still remember, I was like, of course I'm lucky enough to have a very loving partner. So she and I, and like the pornographic videos I saw years before, that act that we performed was somewhat natural, intuitive, and generally good for both of us, right? Like there was so much decade that followed. It was a continuous evolution of my sexual, professional, social, and personal self, and that was filled with both good and bad experiences. But again, it all came down with a great career, a wonderful marriage, and three beautiful kids. Now you might be wondering why I'm telling you all this story, all my personal story, in this video about nudity and orgasms. Well, the reason is because that desire to see and experience the nude body is such a miraculous experience that should be celebrated. It should be celebrated, okay? And of course, it is celebrated throughout the world in art, in religion, in our personal lives as well. I'm not saying religion in that sense, okay, but religion in a sense that it is so important that its banishment in public is written into laws. In its banishment, it's also its banishment is written in public, and also at the same time allowance in some countries is written in public, tribal constitutions, and even injected into different depictions of religious deities, and among many other religious and cultural texts as well. Not only that, but it's also a very constant theme of the fashion world, as well as the many other customs and social norms, that people know that where and when to be naked. Now look, the whole point is that yes, nudity is on our minds. It's on our minds, and for some people it's on their minds a lot. And the second point I want to discuss here is that the reason why I told you my short personal story is that every single person's experience with nudity and our interpretations of it are completely subjective, and uh, they're totally based on multiple personal factors and experiences, right? Because my life has been a mixed bag of good and bad, and because of that, and that frames how I think about things. And there is no doubt that this might be true with you as well and everyone else in the world. Now look, your beliefs about your ideas, or your beliefs about seeing nudity as being a cause for your porn use, is your own personal perception. It's your own personal perception that you either created yourself, or you have collected that belief from others, from the people around you in your society during your throughout your lifetime. And this perception about seeing nudity as your cause for your porn habit, it does not reflect any objective truth. It's not the reality, okay? Look, irresistibility in and of itself as a concept in regards to nudity, that implies that you are not responsible for your preoccupation with it, or for your inability to stop looking at it. But that does not make any sense, right? Because let's debunk this myth one by one. Number one, first myth comes is people believe that nudity is irresistible, right? Like, look, nudity is not irresistible. And if nudity is not irresistible, then of course porn images of nudity aren't either, because it's the same thing. But the thing is, if nudity was to cause PMO, right? Just think about it, okay? If nudity was to cause people watch porn, or like if nudity was to cause people PMOing, watch porn or masturbate, then think about it. In every third world country you can think of, where nudity is the norm, like where nudity is very normal, like in these countries about 60 to 70% of the people are naked, barely walking down on the streets right? They are naked. And if nudity, if people, like if this was true, that nudity was to cause PMOing, then in every third world country where nudity is normal, uncontrolled staring, public masturbation, and possibly even rape would also occur as a direct result of seeing nude people all around you. But that's not the case. And the same would also occur in the nudist beaches and colonies all across the globe, all across the world, okay? But if you actually look at all the studies, if you actually look, do your own research, you will find out the most important factor, that those countries where nudity is normal, there are no legal restrictions on it, and people can be naked whenever they want, anywhere. uh, like 60 to 70% of the people are naked in these countries. In those countries you will see that the rape cases are the most lowest. And that's crazy. And also the most craziest part is that whilst in those countries where nudity is not allowed, like it's a taboo it's a big taboo, and also there are so many legal restrictions on it, in those countries you will see that the rape cases are the most highest. So, and that takes us to another, and no, I'm not saying that nudity, I'm not promoting it, but I'm just telling you the reality. Because once you see certain thing for what it is objectively, and not for what you made out to be or what our culture has made out to be, then you are seeing the truth, and the truth will set you up free forever. Okay, so just listen to me very carefully. I'm gonna change your mind forever. So look, the thing is, and that takes us to another point of the video, that whenever you make something a taboo, right, whenever you make something a taboo, it you what you are actually doing is, you are actually you are actually inflating the value in it unconsciously. You're making it seem more unique, seem more special, right? And let me give you a very simple example, okay? And by the way, this is the example I came up by my own, okay? This is not something. So let's say that you and there is a woman, there is a girl, okay? And both of you work together at a shop, you and a girl, and you really like that girl, right? You actually like her. And then one day what happens is, there is no one at the shop, right? And both of you, the girl basically, there is no one at the shop, and the girl just told you that, you just let's go at the back of the shop, and let's enjoy. You know what I mean? So there is, you will see that there is no the factor of guilt, there will not be a factor of much guilt around it, right? And also because it's a taboo, it makes it seem more unique, a different, it seem more special somewhat, right? Like that guy will be like, oh yeah, no one is looking at me, oh, yeah, let's go at the back of the shop, right? So you see, when you make because it's a taboo, it unconsciously it unconsciously its value inflates, right? And the best way to prove this is, you can actually look at all the rape cases, right? The rape rates are the most highest in the countries where nudity is a taboo, and in those countries where it's a norm, cases are the most lowest. So how does that make any sense? If nudity was to make people lose control, if nudity was to cause watch PMOing, porn, masturbation, orgasm, then how does that make any sense? Why the rape cases are the most lowest? They should be the on the peak, but that's not the case. Why? Because the reason is because people choose. People choose their reactions the whole damn time. They choose their reactions to nudity and nude image in general within the social norms. So that means that clearly nothing is truly irresistible. Nothing is truly irresistible. There are only things and ideas that you find attractive, that you prefer, that you like, based on how you choose to see them and engage with them. But those things and ideas are not inherently irresistible. Nothing is in fact truly irresistible, right? And also, one another point is that no one is ever powerless, no one is ever out of control simply by seeing the nudity. So if no one is ever powerless or out of control by seeing the nudity, hence it's not irresistible at all. And let me give you another very good example, okay? Genres of porn. So you see, you skip, you might have noticed that you skip many genres of porn imagery to get to what you like or prefer, right? When you go into these porn sites, you skip tons of videos that are not according to your liking, that are not according to your preference, that you like. There are certain genres of porn that you don't like to watch. I mean, it does not turn you on. Uh, so you skip those genres and you only get to that which you like or prefer, and then you decide to orgasm to it. But that takes us to another point. Yet you see, all the people in these pics or videos are quite naked. So how can you say that nudity is irresistible? So if there are many genres of porn that you don't like to watch, that directly repulse, that directly don't turn you on, right? And you don't like to watch, like for example, homosexual porn. People in these videos and pics are quite naked, right? And there are many other genres as well, not only homosexual porn. You can think of many other genres that you don't like to watch, and while someone else might uh, prefer watching that stuff, the same genre of porn, and he might even decide to orgasm to, he might find it so much pleasurable while you don't feel anything, you don't like it. So yet the people in these pics or videos are quite naked, right? So how can you say that nudity is irresistible? If nudity was irresistible, then you won't be able to skip those genres of porn where people would be naked to get to what you like. But that's not the case. You easily skip all those genres of porn to get to what you like or prefer, and then you decide, you choose to orgasm to it. Yet all the people in this pics are quite naked. Now, here's an exercise to challenge this belief. If you want to challenge this belief, I've also put an exercise, a very simple exercise, if you want to challenge this belief. So, simply look at the images of nudity that do not align with your preference or your liking. Maybe it can be a picture of naked people starving in concentration camps. Try it. Maybe it can be a picture of naked people starving in concentration camps, or even I use a famous picture of a naked young Vietnamese girl. She was screaming in terror, and she, like, in that picture, there was a naked young Vietnamese girl, and she was screaming in terror, running towards the cameraman, and behind her was a burning bombed house. So, yes, she is naked. Of course, she is naked, but that image will do a very little good for vast majority of the people who choose to look at it. So, irresistibility is not the word that you will use for such a depiction of nudity. You can do this exercise to challenge this belief on your own. So, here's the conclusion we can arrive at. Okay, number one, look, most people like to look at it. It's not, you cannot say that it's irresistible, but most people like to look at it. They decide to look at it because they prefer it. And second thing is that it's, of course, it's normal, it's everywhere all around the world. You can see on your screen, on your phone, it's everywhere, right? But and also the third thing is that the value that you perceive in it is totally based on your own personal preferences and whatever the fantasy you imbue it with in your own mind. Very important thing, okay? And lastly, because our mind builds the meaning into these nudity objects, of course it's our mind that builds the meaning into these nudity objects, which are pictures, videos, whatever. So because it's our mind that builds a meaning into these objects, that means that it's, they're completely subjective experience, meaning that they're highly dependent or to a large degree on our mind, and specifically on our likes and dislikes, right? So what does that mean? That it's not inherently irresistible, unless of course if you believe they are. If you believe they are, then it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, meaning that it can become a subjective version of the reality, if even if it's not true. Okay, so it's not inherently irresistible. Of course, you choose your reaction the way you choose to see nudity based on your own personal preferences and whatever the fantasy you imbue it with in your own mind. And also that takes us to another point. Okay, look, there are many images and many videos that contain nudity. Like people are quite naked, that contain nudity, but they are not according to your liking or your preference, and hence they are not irresistible either. Do this, you can choose to do this exercise on your own. I've given you the exercise to challenge this belief. There are many images and videos that contain nudity, but because they aren't according to your liking or preference, you might not even feel anything. I mean, do you think that you won't be able to resist that? Like it's irresistible and you just can't stop staring at it? No. I mean, in fact, it's not according to your liking or preference, and hence it's not irresistible either. But the people, but of course, it contains nudity. So how can you say that nudity is irresistible? So we have debunked this myth as well. Now, the second myth that comes is that orgasms are irresistible. Orgasms is one of the best and the strongest feeling. Orgasm is one of the best feelings in the world, and it's so powerful experience that you just can't stop. That's what people say. Now let's debunk this myth together. Okay, yeah, of course there is no doubt that the desire for that physical climax, meaning the orgasm, the desire for the orgasm, is the number one general motive for why people watch porn or why people masturbate. And because the orgasm is also the part of our bodily experience, of course it's a part of our bodily experience, so that's why it also becomes somewhat of a confusing issue as well for so many people, for some people, not so many. Because at one point we keep talking about your metaphysical mind that is running your desire for pmo porn masturbation orgasm, and on the other hand we have this infamous orgasm, underrated concept of orgasm, that seems to be a body centered glitch in that theory, because it's a bodily sensation that you feel. And then the question comes in people's mind that, so Ahmed, does the body drive a person to PMO? All right, let's debunk this, okay? Yes, we are not ignoring that orgasm is not pleasurable. Yes, orgasm feels good physically. Of course, it feels good physically. Physically, it's a nice feeling that physically feels nice. Okay, I mean, you cannot get rid of that good orgasmic experience. Okay, it's a physical sensation that feels good, but what creates that orgasm in every person is completely subjective, right? Meaning that orgasm is dependent on a large degree on our mind, and specifically on our likes and dislikes. Think about it. Just think about it for a second. Okay, you see, orgasms don't just happen. They don't just happen. Our mind is what runs the orgasm. Because let's be honest. Okay, you don't just explode to that physical climax of orgasm without you having to create something in your mind, without you having to create a thought or a fantasy in your mind, right? So think of this scenario. Okay, let's say there is a guy, and he finds someone, and he's like, let's say there is a guy who was walking in the public. Okay, and suddenly he saw someone or something that he found extremely attractive, but he is in the public. Do you think that he will stop immediately and start masturbating to that uncontrollably? No. Instead, he will choose otherwise. He will choose not to, right? So you see, there is no irresistible force here that compels people to PMO in public, that compels people to masturbate or watch porn in public. There is no irresistible force in that compels people to PMO in public. Of course, in extremely rare cases, but of course that involves other mental illnesses the guy might be mentally ill. That involves other mental illnesses, okay, in extremely rare cases. But you see, there is no irresistible force that compels people to PMO in public. So orgasms, you need to understand that orgasms are never ever a compulsion to make them your primary path to happiness. It's completely our choice, right? Now here's an exercise for you to do, just like to debunk this as this myth as well. Here's an exercise that you can do. Just try having an orgasm while thinking about something that is repugnant to you, that is disgusting to you, that you find disgusting. Or maybe you can think about something random. You can think about a car, you can think about a house, you can think about whatsoever, okay, like, or you can think about something that is disgusting to you. You will see that you can't reach that orgasm without inventing something in your mind that you find value in it. So what that shows, that orgasm needs your own mind to run the fantasies in conjunction with manipulation of your genitals to frame and complete the whole experience. Without all of that, without this, the fantasies and the manipulation of your genitals, right, this cannot happen. It's impossible, right? You can even do this exercise as well. So without that means that without you having to create any mindful meaning and value in your own mind, orgasm simply cannot happen, right? And you will realize one thing, that with the help of this exercise, that you can't reach that physical climax without inventing something in your own mind that you might find value in, which is a fantasy. Like, we can call it a fantasy. Just think of it like this, okay? Imagine your fantasy is like a fuel, and the orgasmic experience is like an engine. So without the fuel, meaning the fantasy, the engine can't go anywhere. You see, it's the same thing. But be careful, be very careful. I'm not suggesting you that you should not choose to have orgasm. You should pray that you don't get rid of that orgasmic, uh, what you call, man, you should pray that you don't get rid of that orgasm, right? Because like I told you, yes, orgasm is a physical sensation that feels good physically, yes, right? We are not saying that it's not pleasurable, or you shouldn't choose that. No, you should pray that you don't get rid of it. It's important to procreate. But what matters the most is that how much meaning, how much value you have given to that physical sensation in your life. Because there is a big difference between liking a fantasy driven orgasmic experience and believing in this lie that orgasm is so powerful experience that you are incapable of choosing not to do it. Read this sentence again, okay? There is a big difference between liking a fantasy driven orgasmic experience and believing in this lie that orgasm is so powerful experience that you can't just choose not to do it. There is a big difference. Of course, if you choose to like a fantasy driven orgasmic experience and you don't believe in the myth that orgasm is so powerful experience that you are incapable of choosing not to do it, then you can choose to have orgasm whenever you want. It's not gonna be like what do you call, a monster or something like that, okay? So because once you see things for what they are and not what you made them out to be, you're actually seeing the truth, and the truth aligns with the reality, and the truth will set you up free forever, okay? So let me give you even more examples to so that you can become more convinced right? So look, imagine imagine you are in the middle of watching porn. You're in the middle of masturbating. You're in the middle of that orgasmic experience, and suddenly someone walks upon you. Like you're sitting alone, and you're in the middle of that orgasmic experience, but suddenly someone walks upon you, your mother, your father, whatsoever, okay? So do you believe that the nudity in front of you, in front of your screen, is so irresistible that you just can't stop staring at it, even though someone walked upon you and you don't care, because the nudity in front of you is so irresistible that you just can't stop, and you just can't shut down your laptop, and it's going to compel you to keep on having that orgasmic experience, and it's going to compel you to masturbate, it's going to compel you to keep on watching that stuff, right? And do you believe that the orgasmic experience is so powerful experience that you can't just choose not to do it, even if someone walked upon you? But that's not the case. You will even you will notice that you will realize that you will quickly shut down your laptop, even though people even though there is nudity in front of you on your screen. So you see, we have debunked both of the myths. Even though you are looking at nudity, you are seeing nudity in front of you. So if nudity was irresistible, truly irresistible, then even if someone walked upon you, you just couldn't resist that, you just can't stop. But that's not the case. You would, that's not what happens. In fact, you will quickly shut down your laptop. You will stop having that orgasmic experience, and you will focus on something else, right? So what that shows, that nudity is not irresistible at all, okay? It's something that you choose to see based on your own personal preferences, right? Based on what kind of fantasy you imbue it with in your own mind. And also, it's totally based on your own personal preferences, right? It's not irresistible at all. We always evaluate things in our mind first, and then we choose to act based on our own personal factors, okay, like personal experiences and personal preferences. Not only that, but orgasm is also not irresistible at all. It's just a physical sensation that feels good. But there is a difference. Like I told you, there is a difference between liking that fantasy driven orgasmic experience and believing in this myth, in this lie, that orgasm is so powerful experience that you are incapable of choosing not to do it, right? What matters is that how much meaning and value you have given to that physical sensation in your life, right? So let me give you the one last example, okay, before ending this video. So consider this another example. Imagine you are drunk. Let's say, imagine you are drunk, okay, and you are on your way to your house from a party. Let's say you just came back from a party and you are just on your way to your house. And what people would call is that you are feeling that quote buzz of alcohol, whatever people say. Now, while you are driving your car, while you are driving your car, suddenly a police pulls over, okay, like a cop pulls over. There comes a police who pulls you over, and he suspects you of being drunk. You will quickly realize that the quote buzz of alcohol, it suddenly goes out of the window, and you realize that, man, it's our own mind that is running the whole damn system. And this also takes us to another point, that even with substances, people still have control over their own body, right? So nothing is truly irresistible at all, okay? So you can watch this video again. I hope you got something. If this video helped you, just smash that like button. Make sure to share this video with your friends as much as possible, so they can also benefit from it. And I will keep on uploading videos like this. Just let me know in the comments down below if you want more videos like this, these educational videos. I'm gonna make more videos for you guys. And yeah, for now, take care. I'm out. Assalamu alaikum.